On February 26, 1991, during the First Gulf War, retired U.S. Army Colonel Douglas MacGregor led an armored battalion in what would become known as the Battle of 73 Easting. It was a day that would go down in history as one of the most stunning military victories of modern times, and it would forever change the way that the U.S. military approached armored warfare. The battle took place in the flat, featureless desert of southern Iraq, near the Kuwaiti border. MacGregor's battalion, part of the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment, was tasked with advancing into Iraqi territory and engaging enemy forces. It was a dangerous and daunting mission, but MacGregor was determined to succeed. As the sun rose over the desert, MacGregor's battalion began its advance. The ground shook as dozens of M1A1 Abrams tanks and M3 Bradley fighting vehicles thundered across the sand, their engines roaring and their turrets swiveling back and forth, scanning the horizon for any sign of the enemy. For hours, the battalion advanced through the desert, encountering little resistance from the Iraqis. But then, as they approached a series of low ridges, MacGregor's forces came under heavy fire from Iraqi tanks and artillery. MacGregor remained calm and focused as he directed his forces to engage the enemy. The air was thick with the smell of diesel fuel and gunpowder as tanks and armored vehicles rumbled across the desert, firing their weapons at the enemy positions. Despite the heavy fire, MacGregor's forces pressed on, pushing deeper into enemy territory. The ground quaked as heavy-duty tanks and enemy armored vehicles collided, throwing up clouds of dust and debris. Explosions echoed across the desert as missiles and shells struck their targets. MacGregor was in the thick of the action, leading from the front as his battalion battled Iraqi forces. He was cool and collected, barking orders and issuing commands as his forces engaged the enemy. As the battle raged on, MacGregor's forces began to gain the upper hand. They outmaneuvered and outgunned the Iraqi tanks, quickly destroying them with precise and deadly fire. The Iraqis were overwhelmed and outmatched, and they soon began to retreat. As the sun began to set over the desert, the battle came to an end. MacGregor's battalion had emerged victorious, having destroyed a much larger and better-equipped enemy force. It was a stunning triumph, one that would go down in military history as a testament to the skill and bravery of the U.S. military. For MacGregor, it was a day that would forever be etched in his memory. He had led his forces into battle against a formidable enemy, and he had emerged victorious. It was a moment of intense pride and satisfaction, but also one of sober reflection. He knew that the battle had come at a high cost, and that many of his fellow soldiers had made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their country. As MacGregor looked out over the war-ravaged desert landscape, he knew that the battle was not over. There were still many challenges ahead and many more battles to be fought. But he was confident that with the skill, courage, and determination of the U.S. military, they would be able to overcome any obstacle and emerge victorious, just as they had on that fateful day at 73 Easting. Retired U.S. Army Colonel Douglas MacGregor was widely praised for his leadership and tactical skills during the Battle of 73 Easting. His battalion's victory over a larger and better-equipped Iraqi force was considered one of the most significant accomplishments of the Gulf War. MacGregor's actions during the battle earned him a Silver Star, which is the third highest military decoration for valor in the U.S. Armed Forces. The citation for the award praised his calm and deliberate leadership and his bold and decisive actions in leading his battalion to victory. In the years following the Gulf War, MacGregor continued to receive recognition for his military service, including several additional awards and decorations. He retired from the military in 2004 with the rank of colonel, and has since become a respected commentator on military and foreign policy issues. If you have not subscribed yet, what's stopping you? I need the support, I want the support, and I'm requesting the support. Come on, help me blow up this channel. Click like and subscribe now. Douglas MacGregor was born in 1949 in the Bronx, New York, and grew up in a military family. He attended West Point Military Academy and graduated in 1973, after which he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. Over the course of his 28-year military career, MacGregor served in a variety of roles, including as a tank platoon leader, battalion commander, and senior strategist at the Pentagon. MacGregor's military career was marked by several notable achievements. He was awarded the Bronze Star for his service in the Gulf War, during which he commanded a tank battalion that played a key role in the Battle of 73 Easting. He also served as a military advisor to the Saudi Arabian National Guard and was involved in the planning of Operation Desert Storm. Retired U.S. Army Colonel Douglas MacGregor was born into a military family, and his father was a veteran of both World War II and the Korean War. Growing up, MacGregor was exposed to the military culture and developed an interest in military history and strategy. In an interview with West Point magazine, MacGregor described his decision to pursue a military career as a natural choice. He said, "I was always interested in history and military history, and I felt like I was part of a tradition. It was something I wanted to do." After graduating from West Point Military Academy in 1973, MacGregor was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army and began his military career. MacGregor's motivation for pursuing a military career was likely influenced by a combination of his family background, his interest in military history and strategy, and his desire to serve his country. After retiring from the military in 2004, MacGregor became an author and commentator on defense and foreign policy issues. He has written several books, including Breaking the Phalanx, A New Design for Land Power in the 21st Century, and Margin of Victory, 5 Battles That Changed the Face of Modern War. He has also appeared as a guest commentator on several news programs, including Fox News and CNN. MacGregor's views on military strategy and foreign policy have been both praised and criticized. He has been a vocal advocate for military reform, arguing that the U.S. military is too large, too bureaucratic, and too focused on fighting conventional wars. He has also been critical of U.S. involvement in foreign conflicts, including the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. However, some of MacGregor's views have been controversial, particularly his comments on immigration and race. He has been accused of making racist and anti-Semitic remarks, and his nomination to a senior position at the Pentagon was withdrawn in 2020 after these comments came to light. Retired U.S. Army Colonel Douglas MacGregor served as a military observer during the conflict in Bosnia in the early 1990s. During his time in Bosnia, MacGregor was a member of the United Nations Protection Force, which was tasked with monitoring the ceasefire between the warring factions and providing humanitarian aid to civilians. MacGregor was critical of the UN's approach to the conflict, arguing that the organization was too passive and that a more forceful intervention was needed to stop the violence. While MacGregor did not have a direct role in the breakup of Yugoslavia or the subsequent conflicts in the region, his experiences in Bosnia shaped his views on military strategy and intervention. Retired U.S. Army Colonel Douglas MacGregor has been known for his controversial views on Russia and its role in world affairs. He's been critical of what he sees as Russia's aggressive actions in Ukraine, its interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, and its attempts to undermine NATO. Despite his criticism of Russia, MacGregor has been involved in a number of initiatives aimed at improving relations between the U.S. and Russia.
Former senior US military official says Australia is simply causing more pain for Ukrainians and is risking a wider war by sending weapons to Ukraine, and Australia should instead be pushing for peace.
Well, if you understand that the longer this lasts, the more people are going to be needlessly slaughtered, the more damage will be done to Ukraine. It's already effectively a failed state. It could be erased completely from the map. Then I would argue that we need a ceasefire. And Australia should press for that because no one in Washington is going to do it. But I'm hearing from people in Berlin and Paris and those in London that there's growing support for just that, to argue for a ceasefire and come to some sort of arrangement, because we can't afford to fight this until there are no longer any Ukrainians left.
In 2017, he participated in a high-level security forum in Moscow, where he met with Russian officials to discuss the possibility of cooperation on issues such as counterterrorism and nuclear arms control. MacGregor has also been a frequent guest on Russian state-owned media outlets such as RT, where he has discussed a range of topics related to U.S. foreign policy and military strategy. Some critics have accused MacGregor of being too sympathetic to Russia and its interests, while others argue that his willingness to engage with Russian officials is a positive step towards improving relations between the two countries. Douglas MacGregor has been involved in politics in various ways throughout his career, including serving as a senior advisor to several political candidates and working as a policy analyst and commentator on national security and foreign policy issues. However, to the best of my research, my sources indicate at this time there was no definitive information or credible reports suggesting that MacGregor was actively pursuing a run for political office. While he has been known to express his opinions on political matters publicly, he has not indicated a specific desire or intention to seek elected office. What do you think? Should Colonel MacGregor run for POTUS? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you have not subscribed yet, what's stopping you? I need the support, I want the support, and I'm requesting the support. Come on, help me blow up this channel. Click like and subscribe now.